2,000 years later.
Hey, what's up YouTube? It's your girl Naomi and I'm coming at you with another video. So this video is about your man, Robert FRATTA. He was convicted of capital in 1996 for hiring two men to murder his wife in 1994. Let's take a look. So Robert decides to do an interview after finding his wife in the head by a wound, and he has this creepy smile about himself. I mean, it's just eerie to see this man doing an interview when you should be grieving. Guys, watch this.
We got a consent to search his car. Found, I think, $1,050 in his car plus a handgun. And anyway, he was released the next morning.
A local news station filmed him on that very morning. He seemed to be concerned about his looks.
And I hope they find the guy soon.
Today, January 10th, Robert Allen FRATTA is set to be executed after almost 3 decades waiting on death row. Robert FRATTA, through this whole process, have just came off very narcissistic to me. He talks about how his wife wasn't really his type. She was short, she was this, she was that. She was already getting married, she was engaged to someone else, but he would also, have her come over to his house while he was dating other women. She would cook, clean for him. He said she was the perfect person, and he felt like God was telling him this needed to be his wife. And so that's why he married her. He was saying her look was also not his type because she wasn't built properly. He wanted to be with someone bigger, taller, because he was so small and short, and he didn't want his kids to come out that way because he got picked on, and that's why he started bodybuilding and taking care of his body in order to, avoid being bullied. And so that kind of just plays in my mind when I think about him having her, which he was convicted of. It was also said that a lot of their issues came from his desire for not so normal acts that he would want her to participate in. Here's an example.
I have never heard of this where someone is asking you to go to the bathroom in their mouth.
There was a lot going on within this marriage, from the divorce, the custody battle with the children, and then just weeks before all of this is to be finalized, your wife is murdered. I mean, it's not only that. The weapon was said to be purchased by him. There was money found in the car. And still to this day, to this very day, he says he does not even picture himself inside of that room being executed. He just says it's not going to happen. He knows that he's innocent and it's not going to happen. Even his daughter says that he's guilty and she will be there at this execution, even though he was granted a retrial because a lot of the information that was given by the other two co-defendants was thrown out. He still has this in his mind because he says, and this is from News KOUH 11, he declined a request for an interview, but he did file a lawsuit trying to stop his execution. He claimed, along with other death row inmates, and I'll put a picture up right here. So these two men on the sides are not his co-defendants, but these men are claiming that the medication used during lethal injection are past their expiration dates. And so that's why he's thinking that today, on January 10th, 2023, will not be his execution date. So he thinks he's going to get a stay. So we'll see about that. However, I'm going to play the news clip informing us on what is supposed to go down today.
Of hiring two men to kill his wife and mother of his three children.
Robert FRATTA has been on death row for nearly 3 decades and is scheduled for execution tomorrow night in Huntsville. The U.S. Supreme Court today denied his attorney's efforts to stop it.
KPRC2 investigator Robert Arnold will be a media witness to FRATTA's execution.
And tonight, Robert takes us through the case that led to the death penalty.
What is your emergency?
Yes, I just want please.
I just lost something that was so precious. She was always my baby.
I keep telling them I wish they'd find the guy that did it.
He's lying. He's been lying all night.
FRATTA just returned home when she was ambushed in her garage.
I just saw
You just saw a shooting?
Yes.
And what is your location?
FRATTA, a mother of 3, in the head.
There's still a person out there. There's a black gentleman. He's wearing a black shirt and a black pants. The lady is down in her garage. She's been shot 2 times. There are 2 shots.
When FRATTA was murdered, suspicion immediately turned to her estranged husband, Bob FRATTA.
Did you originally have your wife killed? No, I did not.
Harris County Sheriff's detectives questioned Bob FRATTA immediately following his wife. FRATTA was a Missouri City public safety officer, a hybrid firefighter police officer.
Who hates your wife enough to kill her? Nobody I can think of. I mean, I can't think of anybody that hates her. What's wrong with this picture?
You know, there's no sexual assault, there's no carjacking.
FRATTA did have an alibi.
Well, the time it happened, I was at church with my children.
True, but detectives knew Bob and Farrah were in the middle of a contentious divorce and custody battle. There was also the matter of the $1,000 in cash found in Bob's car the night of Farrah's murder.
He is so self-serving, so egotistical. Is a classic narcissistic that believes the world revolves around him.
Victims' rights advocate Andy Kahn has remained close to Farrah's family.
Everyone was nervous.
Judy Cox was a social worker assigned to supervise visits between Bob FRATTA and his children after their mother. Bradley was 7, Daniel 6, and Amber 4.
I can remember her walking around the office and saying to anyone who would listen, the bad guys put in my mommy's head.
Cox's notes from those meetings revealed the confusion and pain these children endured.
They wanted to know when they could live with him. Amber cried when he left and wanted just one more hug. 5
months after Farrah's murder, Bob FRATTA was arrested and charged with hiring 2 men, Joseph Andrew Prystash and Howard Paul Guidry, to kill his wife. Prosecutors said Prystash was the go-between and getaway driver, while Guidry was the trigger man.
My poor daughter, she stood in front of him. He could have spared her. These people are not human.
During trial, witnesses testified Bob FRATTA talked to several people about finding someone to kill his wife.
They still trying to pin the gun to me as though it was a reward for the right.
Some of Guidry's jail phone calls were recorded.
Well, how can they use that gun against you? Because you had idiot's gun. What's his name? Pystash's gun, right?
Actually, the gun comes from, I found out later, FRATTA. FRATTA gave the gun to Pystash.
Bob FRATTA was convicted and sentenced to death in 1996, but more than a decade later, he won a retrial. An appeals court determined Prystash and Guidry's confessions were inadmissible.
I just felt so sorry for Lex and Betty having to go through that again.
Cox remained close to the family and was by their side when a 2009 retrial ended the same as the first. Bob FRATTA convicted and sentenced to death.
I can't get that image out of my mind where he's smiling into the camera. There are certain cases that deserve the death penalty, and Bob FRATTA's right at the top of the list.
Farrah FRATTA's father has since passed away. Andy Kahn says he will attend Bob FRATTA's execution, honoring a promise he made to witness the execution if Farrah's father could not. Prystash and Guidry are also on death row for Farrah's murder. Their execution dates have not yet been scheduled. Robert Arnold, KPRC 2 News.
So today I will be keeping up with all of the information with his execution today. So hopefully there will be no stay. I'm sorry, I cannot deal with people that are just unremorseful, so arrogant, just narcissistic personality. It's beyond me. His daughter has asked for the truth, and the evidence speaks for itself. With that being said, I just have a few questions for you guys, so hopefully you guys can answer them down below in the comments. How do you feel about the death penalty? I would also like to know, how do you feel about lethal injections specifically? Like, do you feel there's any humane type of way to die? Because I've done research, and I'm gonna do another video on that, I believe here soon, or probably alive, and it says that on the bodies that they do research on afterwards, you know, experiencing lethal injection, it's more like they are feeling as if though they're drowning, suffocating, a lot of anxiety. So is that a humane way to go? How do you feel about that? And last but not least, if you do not believe in the death penalty or lethal injection, what do you recommend is done in high-profile cases? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.